Hey guys, this is Jennifer from the Shooter's Mindset. We are here live with episode 363. I've got my co-host Greg Cannon here. How's it going, Greg?
Hey everyone.
And our guests of the hour, we've got a treat with Greg Bell and John Kyle Truitt coming back on. Both have been on the show before for different things. So this time we've got something to talk about kind of collectively. So we have them both on. So how's it going, guys?
It's good. Glad to be here.
Same here. Thank you very much for allowing us to come on, Jennifer.
Oh, you are welcome. I was excited about this one. So for anybody that didn't see the previous shows and know about y'all, I kind of want you to take turns and each of you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into shooting.
Age before beauty, Greg.
I'm in my prime. So I was on a seed tour in Indiana, and I ran across a guy named Dustin Morris. And I didn't know who he was at the time, but come to find out the next year he would win the Golden Bullet. And he farms and I farm, and we got to be friends. And once he told me about this sport, I kind of had to check it out. Of course, there wasn't really anything in Arkansas. And so I meandered around the country trying to find matches to shoot and everything. And that's really how I got my start. I started shooting 2 days in 2016 and really started hitting it hard in 2018. And just had a lot of good experiences, met a lot of good friends. If it hadn't been for the PRS, I wouldn't have met John Kyle, which that might have been a blessing for him, but him and Amy have been very good friends to me and my wife, and a lot of good things, but that's how I got my start.
All right, John Kyle.
Yeah, so I got my start kind of along the same lines. You meet somebody who's involved in it, they kind of bring you along for a little bit. So it's probably 2013 or 14. I was first met Wade Studeville, who's been doing it longer than most of us have known about it, and forgotten more than most of us will know about the sport and just precision rifles in general. And he got me introduced into what it was. That was actually before Amy and I started Foundation Stocks, and we were at that point. I was working and selling CNC equipment and automation solutions and things like that. And that's actually how I came to know Wade. Was working with him on a project in his shop for a new piece of equipment. And it kind of went from there. Saw the industry, saw the people in it, saw that it'd be a place that we would like to be a part of. And then from there, we jumped off and started building rifle stocks and going after that goal and dream. And the rest is kind of history from there, shooting matches and meeting great people like Greg's wife, Becca, and you guys. So that's how we started, was just kind of along the same lines. You meet someone that brings you along, and I think that's how it starts probably for a lot of people. So
I do think it's a very social sport. Mm-hmm. And that is a lot of times what happens is somebody gets you into it and then you get hooked. It's kind of like a drug. Mm-hmm. You get addicted to the sport because it's just so fun and the people are so great. And
it is.
Thanks, Jennifer. Now I'm an addict.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Regina is who got me into it. This is all your fault, Regina. I could be so much richer right now.
It's true. It's true. It does take a little moolah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So what we're really here to talk about, I mean, there's like a ton of things we could talk about, right? And we'll get into a little bit of that towards the end, talking a little bit about Twisted Barrel and Foundation. But on this show, we really wanted to focus and talk about an event that y'all are going to do that's called Shooting with the Pros. And I want you just to kind of tell us a little about what the concept is and how you came up with the idea.
Yeah, sure. I'll take this one at first, and then Greg can chime in to correct me. But so the idea just came up. I think a lot of these ideas come up. Tate Streeter with Impact Precision and I were setting up for one of the 2 days that we held on a range that we share here locally with us last year. And we were just kind of discussing maybe some different formats to shoot in. And one of the things that came up is it's not a new idea. I think it's probably, or I know it's been done across the country a lot of times, more so possibly at a club level, a regional level, but a type of match where it's not an intense setting, where people can come and feel comfortable shooting in a match environment without 100% of the pressure. They kind of get a mix of both the match environment as well as some training with it. So as we kind of chewed on that idea a little bit and talked about it, one of the benefits of being, in the industry and knowing people in it and shooting the amount of matches that Tate and I and Greg and do is we get to know a lot of people and get to know a lot of great shooters. And so, we started talking about it would be neat if we could bring together a solid group of guys and gals that we can pros, if you will. I know Greg and I and all of us kind of, a lot of times when you say pro shooter, it feels weird, but guys that are doing it, that doing it consistently, that are doing well at it. Some who are very naturally gifted, and others like Greg and I who just shoot enough matches that the sun shines on us every now and then. To come together and have a match that there's really nothing on the line for us. There's nothing to take our distraction away from helping the people that we want to help in the match or newer shooters in the match. And so that's what we came up with. And so that's what it's going to look like is we're going to have a good number of pros, 20 plus pros. And those pros are going to include somewhere around 4 or 5 of those pros have gotten golden bullets. When you look at when the golden bullets started in 2012, that's a pretty big percentage of it. So we're gonna have several of those. We're gonna have guys that are well known, their names are well known in the circles. And then we're gonna have guys that have been doing it so long that they have a wealth of information to share. Guys like Wade Studeville or Rick Reeves, who combined have probably shot 75% of the matches out there. And so we're gonna do it in a way that hopefully brings newer shooters into an environment where they can both get some of the pressure of a match. We're going to be under time. There are going to be people watching you, but you're also going to be getting on the clock coaching. You're also going to be getting something, getting a after action review right after you shoot with one of the pros to say, hey, this is what we noticed. And you're also getting the opportunity to watch pros shoot before you to see how they attack a stage, so that you can maybe take something from that and take maybe one thing from this pro, one thing from that pro. Because like Greg will attest to, there's not a perfect way to attack anything, right? It's going to be a little bit different for everybody. And we're going to have pros that are tall, short, skinny, fat, ugly, pretty, lefties, righties. Even going to have one lefty who was a righty that got his eye shot out by a paintball gun, and now he's a lefty. So there's going to be, that's Austin Bushman, by the way, trivia fact for all y'all who like to know that. But I think it's going to be a neat atmosphere. So Greg, you got anything to add to that?
No, I give Tate and John Kyle all the credit. That's just, I guess the good idea fairy lives around them or somewhere in there. Of course, it was probably Amy's idea. But they've got a really good format to be able to take 10 squads and to have 2 pros per squad, and the pros will shoot the stage. They'll be able to hear why they're doing it this way. They'll be able to see what they're doing, and then they will be able to shoot it and then get coaching on the clock. It really is, in my mind, probably like I wish something like this would have been around when I got started, because there is, it's not just a training class, but it's training in action. And I really think it will be really neat to see the benefit that I think people get a big benefit out of it.
That's a good tagline, Greg. Training in action. I don't think you came up with that, but that's good. That's good.
You should have that on the t-shirts.
That's right. That's right.
Make t-shirts with it. Well, so what the next question was going to be, like, who are some of the pros that are going to be there? But we also had a question in the comments. Regina Milkovich wanted to know, how can you get involved with it to help? So how can you get involved to help? Yep. And who are the pros that are already helping? Yeah, reach out to us. We're, the list on the pros we're working on. We've talked to several. It's one of those deals where, Regina, of course, holler at me. We can get together on it. Greg, Tate, I think we're all approachable. We're all able to get a hold of for the most part. Well, Tate's not the easiest to get a hold of, but Greg and I, can get a hold of us. And we can, we'd love to share. That's one of the things about this match in general that Greg, I, and Tate all agreed upon was it's not a match that we want to go out and solicit, like on the sponsor side. We're not going out to solicit a huge prize table. We're not going out to make it about that. I'm sure that there's going to be
prize table, there's everybody that we've spoken to or heard about what we're doing here has wanted to be involved with it. But even with that, it's something that for that, it's going to be a random draw, a random raffle of the shooters, right? So again, we're taking what's normally can put a lens on how we're competing or how we're with good reason and for good purpose, but we're going to try to make it as much about the the learning and training as we can, with the added benefit that, hey, we have some wonderful people in the sport that want to support and encourage people that are coming into it.
It would be cool if we had enough participation, and maybe not this one because of it's coming up quick, but if y'all could have it where there was a all female squad and you had 2 female pros.
Sure. Yeah.
For the females, not that we can't learn from men, but a lot of times there are some limitations with us. We're not as strong as y'all. I see these guys, pick their rifle up one hand, and I'm like, I am so jealous of that. But to be able to show like how, very successful women like Regina, Allison Zane, some of them, how they maybe maneuver and even the playing field by working on just a little bit differently, maybe on some things than the guys do. I think it'd be cool. And plus,
I think
girls, we have our own little precision group on Facebook because there's some things that don't get talked about at the matches that us girls have to talk about how we handle things. See,
I think Greg said he was part of that.
No.
All right, so there we have it. You can be coached by Jennifer Seymour and Regina Milkovich if you come to this class.
I'm not good enough for that. No. Regina is.
I've seen you shoot.
You can have Regina and Allison or somebody like that. But I do think it'd be cool. I think that would be a draw to some females. Some don't care. I don't care. You can yell at me and it doesn't bother me, but I don't care. But some women are much more comfortable learning from a female. So it would be cool if there was like one squad that was for the females. So.
Sure.
And so you said the ratio is going to be 2 pros on each squad, but is it going to be like 20 people squads, or how many are going to be on a squad? What's the ratio going to be between a pro and the shooters?
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Oh, well, thank you, good sir. Right now, the plan is we're going to we're opening up to 80 shooters. If we may be able to open up more slots, we may not. The big issue is especially being the first one, we really want the quality to be there. And because we're allowing the shooters roughly, the pros are going to take 1.5, 2 minutes or whatever to shoot a stage and to kind of teach it. But for the shooters that are coming in, we want to allow plenty of time to where they can work on the stage and they can work on stage breakdown and everything else. So probably because of time constraints, we're going to have to limit it to around 80 shooters. So that'll be 10 squads of 8. It's Arkansas math there for a second. 10 squads of 8, and then you've got 2 pros there as well. So 10 squads of 10. That's roughly what we've got in mind right now. If we're open to other things, but probably we would really like to keep it like that so that the quality is there and nobody feels rushed or nobody feels shorted with what they're doing.
That's awesome, because that makes the ratio like 1 pro to 4 or 5 shooters.
Yes, ma'am.
Be able to ask questions and not feel like they have to stay back and be quiet. I know when you have, I think about the gap grind, which the gap grind is great and it's one of my favorite matches, but there's so many people asking questions, and if you have like 1 or 2 really good pros on that squad, I feel like they get hounded by the other 20 people, asking questions. What should we do for this? And so I think it's great that y'all are doing it small, because it'll be more meaningful to those that are there. I know it doesn't lend as much opportunity, but for people to come to it. But I think the people that do come, it'll be much more meaningful that it's a small group. And then you just need to have more than one, see?
Yeah, and one of the things, like we mentioned earlier, that we want to do is we want to provide, some of that one-on-one to each shooter on every stage. And with that, there's just going to be time limitations. I mean, there's time limitations even when we're running minute and a half stages on 2 days ran by awesome match directors that can run a smooth match. I mean, there's things that happen. So, in the spirit of the event, the spirit of that, I think we have to keep it limited in size to not lose that. So.
I think one of my favorite matches to go to, and I don't shoot it, but one of my favorite is the AG Cup, and it's because there are so many less people. It's just a smaller group. It's a little more intimate. Even after the event is over, there's just less people, and it's a little bit less overwhelming than whenever there's 300 shooters or something like that. So I kind of like the small. I think for beginners that maybe don't know as many people, I think the smaller arena is, I think that's a better way for them to get to know people and all that instead of it being so huge. So
A bit less overwhelming.
yeah. So speaking of that, what all else is going to be going on at this? Is it going to be just they shoot and then they go back to their hotel room, or y'all gonna have food or what?
Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned the AG Cup, and I haven't really thought about that in this sense as far as the environment is concerned until now. But that's one thing that Amy and I always talk about with the AG Cup and how Tom has put it on. The size of it, it's a much more intimate setting, and we really enjoy that match because of that, because of the size, and it's just that it's more intimate setting. So that's one of the things, as Tate and I were fleshing this out, that we wanted to accomplish with it. So with that, along with the environment of being more of a laid back training match, we wanted to be where we can spend time together, fellowship together, have the time to sit around the campfire, if you will, talk, discuss, get to know each other better. So yeah, so with that, both lunch will obviously be provided. It's gonna be a hot lunch. We plan on breaking for lunch and not eating as we go, spend a little bit of time there, then get back on the range. In the evening, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a big crawfish boil there on the range. Twisted Barrel is set up really nice where it has a very accessible common area right behind the range. So it's going to be a good place to congregate. I know that in the place of horseshoes, cornhole has become pretty much a staple. In fact, I think more guys are starting to get more competitive with the cornhole after the matches than they are with the matches themselves. So I think in the AG Cup, Tate threw in 500 and I threw in 500. We had a $1,000 pot for the cornhole championship. And who won that, Greg? It was Derek Webster and
I'm pretty sure it was Webster and
Matt.
no,
Was it Matt? No, Allwine.
Remember Webster because he didn't stop talking.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think he was more excited about that win than the stage win he got. But anyway, so there'll be cornhole. I'm sure we'll scurry up some funds and make it put a little more stake on the line for it. But yeah, we're gonna have an environment where we're hanging out. The shooters are gonna get the opportunity to talk with these guys that have shot. You take someone like Rick Reeves, for instance. I remember looking at a stat on the amount of matches he shot, and for a time, I don't know if he still is, but he shot more matches than anybody else in the history of the PRS. He's number one, Greg.
yeah.
He is, yeah. So, and if anyone's been around Rick Reeves for any amount of time, he's a ball of joy in overalls. I mean, he's a fun guy to be around. So there's guys like that that going to be able to be around, pick their brains. And again, it goes back to how, we kind of all talked about, we got into the sport. It's because somebody took the time, spent some time with us, brought us along, and you get to know somebody. And again, you say pro shooter and whatever that means a lot of times, but there's just like anything, you get around somebody, and for the most part, especially in this league, you get somebody who you may have seen on TV and may have seen them win 40 grand at the AG Cup or something. You get by them and you realize they're a really cool guy, and it's not that big a deal that they can hit a tiny little plate at 1,000. But they just need to be around. They're happy to help you do the same.
So I want to back it up just a little bit. You said like accessible was a word that you said, which reminds me. So like, and also we got comments saying like, oh, I wish I lived closer. This isn't, is this like all other match venues where, you know, you could fly into the closest airport, rent a car, drive 4 to 7 hours to get there?
Go ahead, Greg. He's got that one. Greg's got it.
Got an answer. So our range is 15 minutes south of the Little Rock International Airport. We're within 15 minutes of hotels. Obviously, at an international airport, you're right there next to car rentals and stuff like that. We're 20 minutes from downtown Little Rock, which has actually a pretty decent little downtown nightlife and everything else. And so, no, that's one of the benefits to our range and the location is, you know, being that close to travel and everything else, it does make it more convenient for people.
So this doesn't mean, so this is one of those things where if you're going to travel to a match, like this is the one that's easy to do.
Yes, sir.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, I believe so.
Awesome.
That's back in my stomping ground. I grew up in Jonesboro till I was
Yep.
9.
And actually, John Kyle, fun fact, he has volunteered Bertha to shuttle people back and forth from the airport. And so that'll work out if they don't want to get a rental car. So
I
there's
don't remember that.
Heck yeah.
that.
Because I was thinking, I was like, man, I could get a flight in there. I just need someone to come pick me up.
It's Arkansas. We'll just do a hayride, man.
That's right.
Heck yeah.
Hey, I could just pop a tent up, right? I was ready to sleep outside at Mammoth. I can just pop a tent up and
Yeah.
all I'd have to have is an airplane ticket.
Hey, nice cup, Greg. Nice cup.
Oh, I didn't know
My
you
cup?
would know
Oh,
this.
this
Thank
cup.
you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's right. I like that.
My coffee cup game is strong, son.
That's right.
We will have, if people want to come in and boondock camp, we don't have our electrical hookups done yet. And I don't know that we'll have them done in time for this event. But if people want to come in and boondock at the range, we would love to have them. You know, the more people, the better. We've got plenty of room. And so that would be great as well.
Yep.
That's awesome. So did we say what are the dates of it and the exact location? I know we've talked about it, but we
Well,
all
so-
know where it is.
I don't think we even
Name
officially
of the
said where
range
it's going
and
to
the
happen.
date.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it, Gregory.
Those things don't matter. It's just an event. Show up. Anyway, so make sure I'm not having a brain freeze here. Let me check my calendar. So it will be March 19th, which is a Saturday. We do plan on starting at 7 o'clock in the morning, mainly so that everybody can get the most bang out of their buck. And we really want people to be able to get a lot of cumulative knowledge that a lot of these shooters have. And so we're going to start at 7. Obviously, John Kyle's already mentioned that we're going to break for lunch. It'll be a hot lunch. We're not sure if we're going to do street tacos yet or if we're going to do some other stuff. But we have had, we're definitely going to be taking care of that. And that being said, we do have some people that have stepped up, some sponsors that are going to be taking care of lunch and dinner that we're very grateful for. And so so we'll start at 7 o'clock. The range will be open Friday afternoon. If people want to come in and check zero and they need to get a little bit of dope and stuff like that, we're more than happy to accommodate that. So the range will be open Friday afternoon for that. And then Saturday, it will just be an all-day event. So again, March 19th. And I feel like a game show host. Handing it back over to you, John Kyle. I think we have some big news on when these signups will be available.
Yeah, so that's Tate setting up a practice core, and according to Tate Aruski, it'll be up on Thursday. So be watching from Thursday, and then if not, we'll give you an update at that point. So.
Yeah, so and obviously we'll be sharing that on all of our social media platforms as well. I don't think you'll have any trouble finding the link to sign up Thursday.
Yep.
And if someone reminds the shooter's mindset, we'll share it also. We're just horribly forgetful at stuff like that.
Yeah. And like Greg mentioned on Friday, he touched on it, but we're going to try to have, not all the pros are going to be there on Friday, but there are going to be a number of pros there because we do realize, as we're asking, new shooters or beginner shooters or, those guys that are starting out to come in and might have some questions on their rifles and things like that. Now, that's not to say to come and bring your rifle in pieces because there's going to be a limited amount of time there, but we are happy to help people, with the rifles a bit with some questions. There's going to be some people around on Saturday. I wouldn't depend on that to get set up, but we're going to have pros present to assist on Saturday. I'm sorry, on Friday as well. So there will definitely be pros there on Saturday, but on Friday as well. So
two things. One, what's the registration cost for this?
yeah, it's going to be $150 per shooter.
What?
And
Such
with
a good
that,
price.
yeah, this is not a money making match. In fact, there's nobody making matches. We're there's going to be some costs covered as far as the range is concerned. We're going to take care of the pros a bit, just in terms of some travel. But by no means, these pros are doing it because they want to do it, right? I mean, the fact of the matter is, you really, for most of the guys, you couldn't pay them enough to make it worth their time to come in from across the U.S. come do this. So they're doing it because they want to be a part of it. They want to be for the shooters. So yeah, as far as the match goes, we want to keep it affordable. It's not a money making deal. Nobody's making money on it. We're doing it because we want to do it. And it's something that it's going back to, the money's going back into it to make it an enjoyable experience. Hopefully something that, persists and exists because it's meaningful.
That's really a good deal.
I'm about to say, looking at the list of instructors that you have, there's some of those that charge, $1,000 for a class or more. And that's, just obviously it's not a class. It's not going to be the same thing as going and spending an entire weekend with an instructor looking at you, telling you what to do. But that's that same knowledge from those same instructors for a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Now go ahead, Greg.
I was just going to say, I would pay $150 just to pick Wade Studeville's pockets like any day I could, because God knows that dude could have charged me a lot of money for all the things that I've peeled off of him over the years. And I know he dreads seeing me coming, but I mean, just that guy is just such a wealth of information, much less the people that are coming in. And as John Kyle hit on it, I mean, I'm looking at this list of guys. I mean, most of them are coming in over 6 hours, and so I hope they get a lot of credit, that though they are getting some expenses covered, this is actually a really big credit to those guys for having the heart to come in and do this, because it is a sacrifice in a small extent, and they're willing to do that because they're good dudes.
That's awesome.
Most of them.
So who exactly, we talked a little bit, John Kyle talked a little bit about that Friday will be open and you can come and you can do some zeroing, but I believe y'all want them to have some base foundation of knowledge, not showing up with a rifle they've never shot and I don't know what to do with it. Can you show me how to zero it and true it? Like what is the audience that you're gearing this towards that it would be beneficial for them and they will get something out of it?
Well, I think that I got this correct from John Kyle. What it's geared towards is mainly people that are either wanting to get started or are just getting started in the PRS. I want to be careful how I phrase stuff, because I've put my foot in my mouth way too many times in my life and today. But it's not meant for a mid-pack and above shooter to come in and get some good instruction. If they show up, nobody's checking scores to see where you finished at your last match. But the whole point of it was to give back and to help kind of fast track people like what others have done to us, and to give back and things like that. So it's meant for your newer shooters, or maybe somebody that's just really interested in seeing what this is all about. That being said, there are some requirements that we would ask people. Again, you're not going to be asked to leave if you show up, without this or that. But if you understand the heart of the deal, and if you understand that what we're trying to accomplish is to be able to benefit people the most on the actual shooting side, not so much fixing a trigger or truing dope or stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. we're going to address dope issues if you have them and things like that. But the point is to be able to give actual shooting instruction, maybe more than actually doing gunsmithing things, which again, thank you, Wade.
Yeah, Wade'll be there, so we're safe.
Oh, don't go worry. I'm a gunsmith. I own a 2011 now.
That's
So,
right. Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm looking around my desk to see what gunsmithing tools I have here. Where's my hammer?
I have a Dremel, guys.
Yeah,
exactly. We're good. Yeah, you're a master gunsmith then.
Pretty much, yeah.
But we ask people to come with, again, a rifle that's capable of shooting a minute of angle or better. You know, obviously a half minute will be great, and none of us are going to be testing you at the gate to see how tight a group you can shoot. But it needs to be a reasonably accurate gun. It needs to have a scope that has turrets that are dialable, that we can dial for elevation. You know, and we need to have. We would really, really prefer for it to be a detachable box magazine, just for the safety and ease of use of loading and unloading and showing safe and things like that. Again, if somebody shows up and all they have is BDL, hey, man, we're not turning anybody away. But we're also asking people to understand the heart of it, and that our heart is we want to benefit people the most. And so if we can just have some small equipment things on the front end, then hopefully it doesn't take away from others on the back end. A shooting bag is probably almost a necessity at this point in our lives. Whether you're, you know, I don't know that I'm super worried about what brand it is, but just a shooting bag and a bipod. If I haven't already mentioned that, you will need a bipod. Do my weekend update notes here real quick. Actually, I'm 39, so let me do it like this. Yep, that's the general gist of it. Is you know, those type things will really help us keep things moving smoothly, and it will allow us to benefit people the most as they go throughout the day.
So this would be a great class for like a hunter that knows how to shoot but has never really done competition and doesn't really know what PRS exactly is about. They know how to shoot the gun. They're not, you know, having to learn fundamentals, but they don't really know much about PRS as a whole.
Yeah.
So to be able to transition, because I know a lot of people like that. They're like, well, I don't know how to do the competition stuff. I mean, I can hunt. I have a Remington 700, you know,
yeah.
But they don't know anything about PRS, and they don't want to go buy a race gun when they don't even know if they would enjoy it. So
yeah, it's definitely geared towards people that are interested in the sport. The heart of it wasn't, because honestly, if you look at the cumulative experience of the guys that are showing up to train, like those dudes' time is, they're really good shooters. They're really good trainers. Their training is worth a lot of money. This wasn't ever designed as kind of like, hey, come get $1,000 worth of training for $150. Like, if you're interested in the sport, and whether you're brand new or 5 matches in, but if you're interested in the sport, come on out. That's it. But if it's just to come get, you know, kind of some cheaper training and some free crawfish, like, hey, I get it. I like crawfish too, but you know, it's aimed to kind of promote the sport, well, to really promote the sport, actually.
And to grow it, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So a couple things. Brad Wright from Leopold just commented that you guys are he's gonna have extra scopes in case somebody has something that fails in the middle of it. I know that just knowing some of these people, they'll have a little bit extra. Dude, those sunglasses are legit, by the way.
Something I didn't mention, because I'm really new to working with people that are super awesome that sponsor things. I did kind of hint that maybe Federal might be taking care of some stuff, and Leopold is as well. I'm not really intelligent on how to promote that, but I do want to make sure that I'm giving credit where credit's due, that they both have contacted us and have been very gracious to want to be a part of helping newer shooters and stuff like that. So they get a lot of credit, and I probably didn't do a very good job of saying that.
Also, Tate just commented and said we can bring some rifles.
Yeah. And that's, I think that's in general too, like what you're getting to, Greg, is, I mean, we all have, especially everybody on this list has more gear than we need, and we're going to bring gear. So if you don't have a bag, don't worry about it. We got a bag, you know, things like that. You know, tripod, there's going to be a lot of gear there. And just like a normal match, you can show up to a normal match, and you need a piece of equipment, I've never known anybody say, no, you can't use my stuff, right? So Greg, the hard in it is come prepared to shoot a match with the equipment to do it. But if it's something where you just don't have it and it's not feasible for you to get it, we'll take care of you. We got plenty of stuff. We got plenty of stuff.
Kent
So-
Rush just signed up to bring cheesecake, so there will also be cheesecake.
That's my boy, Kent.
So if
yep,
somebody
Kent-
is sitting at
Kent will
home
be
right
there.
now,
I'm
somebody's
sorry.
sitting at home right now and they're like, man, I really wish I could do this class, but I don't have a rifle. Should they just reach out to y'all and just say like, hey, this is the situation. I know how to shoot. I don't have a gun though, and see if y'all have something lined up that they can borrow?
Yeah, I think that, definitely on something where it's full rifle, things like that, contact one of us beforehand. Let's see if we can get it figured out. Because if we have X amount of people show up without it, we might get in a jam there. But yeah, contact us. We'll work something out. I mean, we have, there's rifles galore. I know ammo's hard to get right now. We can work on that if that's something that is difficult to get. But yeah, don't let it stop you if you don't have all the gear. Like I said, we're all approachable. Reach out to us if it's something that you want to be a part of or want to come to, and we can get that part figured out.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, is it Luke chapter 22, verse 36? If you don't have a sword,
That's
which
right.
I think you can rifle, sell your cloak and buy one. So I don't know how expensive your jacket is, but go sell your jacket and get a rifle.
You're gonna have naked people showing up with nice guns now.
No, actually,
Naked
that is
people
the
with
one
nice guns.
requirement.
That's
We forgot to mention no clothes, no shoes, no service. So
shoes. Well, shoes. I mean, if you take shoes out, then Jim Gillian can't come. So you better.
or maybe Wade.
Yeah, right, that's true. He's got ugly feet. That dude's got ugly feet.
So
no, we absolutely want to accommodate who we can, but just like John Kyle said, there's going to be a limited number of rifles, and so we just want to be really careful with what we're depending on and stuff like that. But as he said, we're all going to do everything we can to pour in our stuff to make sure everybody's good.
So Aaron, who's getting into the sport, looking into building a 6th Creed, asked what the best way to get ammo is right now. Do you guys have any advice? The only advice I have is check the federal website all the time.
Well, I think it was Luke 22:36, and you don't have ammo. Yeah, man. No, that's a good question, man, and it's tough.
Valid.
Unfortunately, it's not a laughing matter. Although I will say, actually, I won't say that because I think it's just for members. I was fixing to stick my foot in my mouth, so never mind.
Well, 6th Creed, actually, specifically 6th Creed's on the shelves places.
Yes,
so,
yeah, that's actually a really good caliber for right now.
Yeah, for wanting to shoot factory ammo, that's one that I consistently see on the shelves. So, I look at you. Go ahead, Greg.
No, I was going to say, actually, if that fella is listening, man, if you want to hit me up after the show, I would be more than happy just to kind of send you a few links to some things that I found that may help you out in that search. I've kind of got a few ideas or places that I can send you.
How much ammo should they bring if they're coming to the class?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
Should have
Very
thought of
good
that, John Kyle.
Yeah. I was waiting for you to bring it up.
Realistically, 100 will be a bare bones minimum, and that doesn't include zeroing and everything. So I would say at least 120, and a little bit more if they really want to check dope or if they might have problems or things like that. Again, we're not going to take up a collection after the match of extra ammo left over, so we will just send it back with them. And if they do have issues of getting either ammo or gear to the match, if they're flying in, I hope people hear me, just contact me on Facebook Messenger, and I'll do what I can to accommodate, if there's issues getting your gear to the match or anything like that. We want to do what we can, but I'd say 120 is a minimum, and 140 would give me the warm and fuzzies.
Yep.
And
Great.
for people, I'm thinking back to like when I first started, I started with like nothing. I took a borrowed AR-10 to a gap grind and shot with dope written on an index card. That somebody had done.
I still shoot with dope on an index card. So
Yeah, well, I had no chrono or anything. So for guys that are sitting at home and don't have a chrono, whenever for the 0 day, are y'all gonna have chronos available where they can just come and get their data that way?
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we can have chronos online and we can have some lab radars down there. Like I said, we'll have the tools needed. Again, as far as bringing a totally raw rifle with no dope that we're figuring out, that if one person came like that, that's doable, right? 2, 3 people, that's doable. If we had 30 people come, that's likely not getting done. So if you have the ability to do it beforehand, do it beforehand, right? And then if it's just absolutely not, we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
But please realize there's going to be a limit to how many people we can take from 0 to ready to shoot a match on Friday. And we're going to also, if we have 20 people waiting on a couple people's time on Friday, we're going to try to be as fair as possible. So we may not be able to sit with you 20 minutes, 30 minutes and get you rocking and rolling.
So maybe if you don't know your rifle's dope, maybe shoot one of the guys a note. So this way they, if you're the third person, they'll say cool. But if you're number 27, they're going to have a issue. So Chad Glasscock asks if you guys have the capabilities of training an RO how to beat his daughter.
In that situation, no.
And then on that, we also had someone say they'd pay $150 just to come hang out with everybody for the weekend. Do you guys have any need for ROs, volunteers, anything like that? And if so, who should they reach out to?
I'm like Greg handle that on the range side.
Yeah, he's handling everything. Man, I want to. That's honestly something we haven't discussed, so we can't exactly call a audible right here. I don't think we do need ROs because that's the whole point of the pros being there. They're going to be watching for safety and watching the shooter on the clock. So I would tend to say that as far as ROs, we don't need that. Would you agree, John?
Yeah, I agree. And as far as hanging out, really the only limitation is going to be, and I may be speaking out of turn here, but Greg's on the range side of it. The limitation would be that if we don't know the number, right? We have lunch, we have dinner, right? Yeah. Obviously, there's going to be extra. We're not going to be portioning out, please, sir, I might have some more. It's not going to be the tied. But, if we had an extra 80 people come to hang out, then it might be like, all right, you get half a taco and, 3 frijoles. But that would be the logistical part of that. But we can discuss that. I mean, we love people to come and to be part of it. The logistical part of not knowing how many people are going to be there would be the difficult part of it.
Again, we're not going to turn anybody away at the gate, I don't guess. But we hate to overpromise and underdeliver. And so we just don't know what the response would be. If we did have 100 people that wanted to show up, man, on one hand, we're so happy to have you. But on the other hand, understand that realistically, we have to be able to handle that many people as well and serve the purpose of what we were doing this for in the first place. And so if people will just show us grace, man, that'll go a long way towards this.
Yep. And how many stages is it going to be? 1. 10 stages.
Yes, ma'am.
What are some of the skills that'll be I know it's not going to be like, and this is a barricade and this is how we stand on a barricade, this is where you should put your knee, but what are you going to do? A lot of different, is it going to be 10 stages kind of where maybe this one will kind of have some holdovers so they kind of get to go home with that piece of it? Maybe this one has a lot of dialing, so they learn that. Maybe this one's more positional. Is there going to be kind of a geared for each stage or what?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, that's something that we haven't, me and John Kyle and Tate haven't got a chance to go through yet, but I think they probably, at the end of the day, will probably just tell me to design it like I think it needs to be done. And so, yes, we're definitely going to cover what I and we would consider a lot of the basic stuff that we see at every match. And that is, yes, holdovers. We're going to deal with shooting troop lines in open, without berms and stuff. We're going to deal with shooting big, small targets and how to take the skill of seeing your impact on a big target and transfer that to a small. We're going to deal with KYLs. I hope to have a stage or two to where we kind of push on speed a little little bit. That's not going to be the focus of the weekend, but speed at times is something we deal with when we shoot. And so if you start thinking through all those, just the common skills that we see at every match, hopefully if I do it right, then I cover all of those in a way that actually helps people learn how to do it. So yes, all of those things and more. Yes, ma'am. Obviously, there may be a PRS barricade in there, probably. So,
Greg, what
Yeah.
lives are there?
Prentice Wink said, "I love tacos, Greg Cannon." Let's see. Yeah, I got a whole lot of talk, but I don't have any questions in live right now.
All right, so y'all kind of talked about there might be a prize table. If y'all did a prize table, this is always the golden question that always has debates and you never please everybody. If y'all did a prize table, would you do it by finish, or would you do like some of the Guardian matches? That's a lot of beginners is done. I think you get a ticket and it's a drawing, a random draw. If y'all were to get prizes for a prize table, how would y'all operate the prize table?
Indian leg wrestling.
Yeah,
Where you lay down and you like do the leg thing and you have to do that. No, we've discussed that. And again, it's one of those deals where we're not soliciting, sponsors on it. We have a lot of awesome companies in this sport that support it tremendously, right? And the point of this match is not to have a stacked prize table that draws a lot of people there, right? I think again, we're going to have support of it, and so if things get sent, to support the match, those are going to be done in a raffle type of deal. I mean, even within the pros, we've got several companies here that I know will do something with it. You've got our company, Foundation Stocks. You got Impact Precision. You've got Andy Hawkins is one of the pros. Hawkins Precision's coming down from Colorado to help with it. As you already mentioned, Brad's and be around. Leopold's gonna be around. Federal's gonna be around. So it's something that, if so happens that we have it, then it's gonna be raffled. But it will not be a placement at this match, and I think that really goes with the intent of it, right?
yeah,
Tables are great to reward shooters or that shoot well and work hard at it, and we have a lot of that across the country. But for this match, I think that's the right approach to it.
Yeah, I don't think we have any intentions of handing out trophies or anything like that for first place. Like, that's not really the intent and heart of this deal. It's really meant to help people, and give them a little bit of match pressure with the training and the atmosphere that comes from training as well.
Knowledge is golden, and that's going to be their prize.
Maybe cornhole trophies. There might be cornhole trophies.
There will be that.
Yeah.
Hey, you're going to have people dry fire in cornhole. There's going to be posts training for cornhole instead of training for
there are a couple pro shooters who are trying to go pro in cornhole at the same time. So I'm not going to mention any names, Tate Streeter, but there's some pretty hardcore people at this.
That's hilarious. Oh, I think this is great, and I think everybody that hears about it, thinks the same thing. I've had a couple of people messaging me like, where's the list? How do we get to do this? So I think if y'all end up doing this, longer, like more than once, either annually, and that was one of the questions is, do you think it'll be something that y'all do annually or twice a year or never again, or you got to wait and see if Greg survives it, or what is your plan with it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those deals where we see how it goes with the responses for it. Twice a year would be a bunch. I think, especially when you're asking so many people to come in on the pro side, where it's not counting for points or anything like that, right? Because when you take Greg Bell, for instance, he shot 16 2 days last year, right, Greg? 15, 16, something like that. He was only beat out by one really good-looking guy on the amount of matches he shot. But anyway, that's a lot of weekends away from families. And so to do it twice a year would be tough. Once a year, we're really grateful for the guys and gals coming in to do it. As far as doing it again, if it's well received and people feel like it's a benefit, I could see us doing it annually. But again, that's kind of like you mentioned, wait and see how it's received, and we'll go from there.
I think you would have no problem finding people to do it again. Even if the same ones can't make it, I think you would have, honestly, I think you could probably have a wait list of pros, because I think a lot of people want to help and do this. So I think that's great.
Sure. Yeah, and I think so too. And that's a great thing about the sport too. You've got so many people that, want to embrace. In fact, I'm sure we're gonna have a lot reaching out to us after this. That's also gonna be a spot where please have grace with us on the pro side of it. We'd love to have everybody there that wants to be there. But again, you got time and limitations, and there's some part of it that, as far as proximity, trying to make it convenient for people, not asking somebody from Oregon to come down to Arkansas for a one-day shoot with the pros match. But you're right. One great thing about our sport is obviously the people. Probably the greatest thing about our sport is the people. And I don't think what we'd have. I know just from the response that we've had as we've talked to people already, and the pros the only ones that have declined or said they can't, I think it's actually just been one, and it's only because of a obligation previously, right? I mean, if they can, it's one of those deals that if they can make it, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. Greg, you get any lives?
Adam Leonberger said he think it'd be great if every range, or at least maybe region, could do something like this at least once a year. And I think that's a valid point. A lot of us like, it's 9-10 hours away, let's
Sure.
go. But like the people that are like, oh, do I want to do this? I'm not sure. So I think it'd be kind of cool, even if, maybe each region kind of, I don't want to say like steals y'all's idea, but kind of expanded upon this awesome thing that you guys are doing to help the sport. So this way there's, maybe we'll have one in the Southeast, one in the West Coast. And, it would be cool if this works out great to see these pop up all over. And then, if someone tells me, someone local to me is like, oh, I want to get into it. I'm like, cool. Well, in 3 months, there's one of these matches in Georgia, come and shoot it.
I do think that's
Sure.
a great idea, because I know especially beginners are not, we don't think anything about it. Like, oh, there's a match in Arizona. Okay, I'll go. Let's, get a plane ticket. And people are like, you do what? You fly across the country and do this? Have you lost your mind? And I'm like, yes, I have.
Yes.
Completely. And I'm broke. But I think for a beginner getting into it, doesn't have that skin in the game yet. It's a lot. It's a big ask to ask them to fly or go that far. Not that people won't, but I think that your interest will be people that are drivable distance.
Sure.
You get some that fly, but realistically, you probably won't be getting too many from Oregon or Florida, where it's such a long way. So I think that's a great idea to do the, if every region could do one, that would be I think it would help grow the sport.
Yeah, I think Greg Bell just offered to be the national match. What was
I
that?
was seriously fixing to sandbag you with that. The exact same.
Do with the pros.
National beginner match.
That's right. That's
So
right.
Regina said that they run a clinic kind of similar once a year or so with the club pros. And if the model works well, she thinks it won't be a hard sell at all to get Arizona involved. Ryan Hayes said PRS training day. Corey Vogue said, hi, buddies. But even this goes back
Grow a
to
beard, Corey. Grow a beard.
this goes back to like what you and I did, Jen, years ago with the local introduction to competitive shooting.
Mhm.
Get something close, cheap, easy, low stress for people.
Yeah, but all I could do is like get them into it. I don't have the knowledge that that's the value here. There are some little beginner things like that across the country, but I think what sets this apart is that it's pros. This is people that have won Golden Bullets. This is people that have won the AG Cup or come, really close to. So, I've never won a match. I can tell them kind of basics and that's about it. So I think what sets this one apart is really just the amount of knowledge. It's pretty stellar that you've got people that are shooting at that level
Mhm.
that are willing to do that. I mean, you don't see, Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, going for free and doing some clinics with some people that are just getting into golf. It's the same, that's the same level here, is that these guys that are, coming and helping truly are pros at this. They've made money in this. They're, and there's not a lot of money to be made in this. So it's impressive that they have. So, I think that is the value of this. So anybody that's watching this, that's like, oh, well, I mean, I could just go to a local match and you might be able to go to a local match and get a pro that helps you there. But this is an opportunity that you definitely have someone that's vetted and truly does have the skills and is top of the game.
Mhm. That is true. The list of instructors is just absolutely ridiculous when it comes to skill. I mean, there's not a single person on this list that isn't like light years above my shooting ability. And even
I mean, if you want to learn what not to do, I can give you a class on that. The problem is I can't give the class on what to do. But yeah, I think it's I think it's a great model. I'm super excited to see it happening.
Yeah, I don't like I mentioned, I don't think it's a new breaking idea. In fact, like Regina said in Arizona, or speaking with I was just speaking with Andy Hawkins earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, but they do something similar at their with their club matches where he and Nick Depperschmidt, they'll be there coaching and running through a match. They're limited some on the numbers of pros, if you will, to do it. And so I think what makes it unique is exactly what you're saying. The density, the you don't want to say necessary quality but the density, the quality shooters that are going to be there available to pour into guys and gals for a day is going to be really neat. But yeah, the format and the format may be a better format at a smaller level, and a more approachable or achievable as far as distance goes, like you mentioned. So we'll see how it fleshes out. And again, it may be one of those deals where, it spurs stuff regionally. Because a lot of times, I mean, you've got pros everywhere across the U.S. Obviously, you got some densities in different places. But no, it's definitely not a new concept. And we're just kind of embracing something that we think will work well and has worked well on a smaller scale.
Yeah, and just to add to the ideas of maybe how we make this a countrywide sustainable thing, Ryan Hay suggested maybe rotating it quarterly per region. So with how many
Good idea,
regions
Ryan.
there are, it's not like, hey, once a year all you guys up here have to do this and have one. It'll come up to like one every other month. But having 4 a year, maybe go in circles around the country. So if there's not one in the southeast, I could go to the one in the Atlantic Coast region that might only be a couple hours from me, and that kind of helps spread it out. Ken Wheeler has already volunteered to host one in Wisconsin in January, for anybody interested in attending that.
In January, you're an evil person, Ken. What is wrong with you? That's like, does Santa come out up there in January? Because I swear it's the normal.
No, he's cold and hibernating for the winter at that point. I don't think you're going to get Jen to come and teach the ladies at that one.
Not in January.
Santa does come out in Wisconsin in January. And here's my question. Have you ever seen Santa Claus and Ken Wheeler in the same room at the same time? I think not. Just saying. Maybe that's what it is.
You never know.
Ken Wheeler, Santa Claus.
No, I think that this will, I think it'll grow. I think y'all are really onto something. Like you said, it is something that's, been kind of done in different formats before, but I don't know that it's ever been done on this scale. So I think it's great. I think it's going to grow and explode. And I think y'all are going to be very successful. I think it's going to be great. I think y'all may have a wait list once you register. Tell me about the registration again. It's Thursday.
Yeah, and if Tate said he'll be up on Thursday, so he's tackling the practice score side, or Wendy maybe. I'm not positive on that one. I think Tate had a run-in with Cowan and Indian earlier, so we'll see what his time frame looks like. But anyway, yeah, so Thursday is supposed to be up, and so keep an eye out for that. But again, like Greg said, we'll put it on our feeds. It'll be on the foundation page. It'll be on the impact page. You all graciously offer to put on your page, so it won't be hard to find. Just keep an eye out if you're interested, and yeah, jump on.
So Matt Partain wants to know what's going on with the sword behind you, and can you Braveheart it out of that?
Oh yeah, so that's actually a sword I gave to my son when I baptized him earlier this year. So it's so when you're searching online for really large swords, you have basically the option of a William Wallace reproduction sword from Braveheart and some really cheap knockoff ones. So it's actually a William Wallace reproduction sword off of Braveheart, but no, it's my son's from a present I gave him when we baptized him earlier this year. So
John Kyle said,
it stays in my office because I'm afraid he's going to shank his sister with it.
John Kyle, hey Partain, John Kyle said, mess around and find out.
That would have been a better answer.
So what else is new with Foundation? Just a quick update. Anything you got to tell us about Foundation right now?
Yeah, we're just, we're plowing along. We're, staying busy, very, very blessed and, fortunate to have people supporting us and buying stocks and competing with them and doing well. We're just nose at grindstone. We're working on some projects, working on some more hunting application-based stuff as well. So that's something that we'll see this year, coming out, hopefully in the near future, here in the near future. So there's a couple different things that a few other projects on the board. We're not a huge operation, so a lot of times we take one project at a time, tackle it, get it done, and move on to the next one. So just making stocks and babies is pretty much what we do around here. So
y'all are good at both.
Yeah, my wife might kill me for that one. So.
She might. She might. And Greg, how about Twisted Barrel Precision? How is that going? Give us an update on that. How long has it been open now?
We've been open since mid-September. It was kind of our soft opening date. We're hoping to have hopefully a big grand opening later in the spring and stuff like that, mainly for the local community to be able to come out and see what we're doing. But it's been going really good. I was very fortunate whenever Billy and Trey approached me in March and asked me to kind of just kind of come in and do just a little bit. And then I can't spell moderation. And so a couple 100 hours later, they've been very gracious to me to include me with a lot of stuff and to make me a small part of the range. And, I've just been really blessed. It's been way more work than I imagined, but it's been very rewarding. And we've had a really good response as far as memberships go, attendance at our club matches. And then we've got our first PRS one day coming up February the 12th. Will be our inaugural PRS one day. And then we'll have another one the weekend after Shooting with the Pros. We had to deconflict a little bit there. So we'll have our second PRS one day will be then. We've got an upcoming PRS training class the first weekend in February. So it'll be February 5th and 6th. But really, Miss Jennifer, it's been, what I've been overwhelmed with is I know that I've been blessed to make a lot of good relationships in this sport over the last 5 or 6 years, 6 years. But it's been really overwhelming. It's hard to describe how much it means to me that my friends have supported me and have supported us in this range and what we're doing. I mean, the fact is, John, Kyle, and Tate were extremely gracious to me. Good Lord. Sorry, just saw random text. I apologize. John, Kyle, and Tate were very gracious to me and to the range to bring us in and to ask us to be a part. And of course, we couldn't be happier. I mean, this goes with our heart with the range and to give back, because we wouldn't be where we are. I wouldn't be where I am if people hadn't given to me. And so that's a long-winded way of saying things are going really good. We've got our movers planned to get, we plan on getting our 3 movers installed in the middle to late spring. So there's just always work going on. And we're very, very blessed with the support that we've gotten from the community and from the local area.
That's awesome. I really want to try and get out there at some point and see it. And it'd be fun to shoot a match out there too, but
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to continue this theme of sticking my foot in my mouth. I really don't even care at this point. So I didn't do a good job earlier of mentioning a few people and a few companies that have, like, before this was ever really even a big idea, had offered to come and help us out. And so if this gets me in trouble, I'll just learn to shut up. But Federal Premium, I mentioned, is coming in and taking care of lunch. Leopold coming in and taking care of dinner. And then I will give him a shout out, even though he's a knucklehead. I asked Matt Partain to come in and help us take care of cooking and everything else for the weekend. And so not only is he going to be cooking for the pros Friday night, but he's coming in to help us Saturday evening and everything else. And again, I'm grateful for my friends that support me and are coming in and willing to help us put this thing on. And realistically, as much as I get on his nerves and he gets on my nerves sometimes, he's a dang good cook. And I'm really proud to have him come out and help us cook and everything and really do it all. I mean, he gets all the credit, and he's a good friend. And anyway, also on just the last note, I'll shut up. So just recently, Leopold came in, and they've partnered with Twisted Barrel Precision to, I don't even want to say what all, but it partnered with us in a really big way and supported us and believe in us and are really backing us 100%. And we are very grateful for what Leopold, what Brad Wright, what Nick has done for us. And so that's a pretty big deal for us, is to have that name behind us in this industry.
that's awesome. It's good to hear good news coming.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Regina said it would be nice on the back to the rotating the if y'all did Shoot with the Pros and all the regional, if Greg Bell was president of Shoot with the Pros and we had them regionally all over.
No.
That it would be cool to have them rotate regionally and teach specific skills for that region. Like the Southwest, target identification is huge, right? You go out there and people struggle, just like it's all sagebrush. Like trying to find where the target is something, more for out there. In the Southeast, we have to deal with a ton of mirage because it gets to be, 500 degrees and all that. So kind of doing some of the specific skills for the region would be cool.
Yeah.
Ken could teach everybody how to shoot in the snow. I don't want anything to do.
That's a lot harder than it looks. I learned that one the hard way.
Old.
It wasn't even that cold at that match. It was just snowy, and the light was like doing all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah, the light does do weird things in the snow. What are the lives you got, Greg?
Ken said he's in. He can do. He'll teach you how to shoot in the snow. Adam said the East Coast can cover the high wind matches. Benny said he can't wait to get time to shoot a 6 GT Tempest sitting in this foundation stock that he got.
There you go.
And I think that's all I have this current right now. Gina says she doesn't like the cold in like 19 different ways. Gina does not like the cold. She doesn't like the cold.
In 2019, the finale, we roomed together and she made it very clear she didn't like the cold.
Is that the time y'all bought out the whole Walmart of everything cold weather related?
We bought all the hot hands that they had and all the
Was it 19 or was it 2020 finale? Was it Oklahoma? Was the one in Oklahoma, right?
Oklahoma, yeah. I was at
2020, wasn't it? Yeah, 2020.
Walmart for that, yeah.
That was pretty miserable.
It was it was not fun. It was
yeah, that was 2020. Rusty Russell wants to know if he'll see any of our smiling faces at SHOT. You'll see me and Jennifer.
Are you getting in the US, Rusty? Rusty's from Australia.
Hey, Rusty.
PRS, so
Yep.
yay. Yes, I'll be there. Rusty, hit me up. We need to get together for real.
What about y'all two?
I will be in and out. I'll be there for a day or two, and then running back. But I'll be there probably Wednesday and Thursday.
Road trip, Bertha?
Big Bertha.
No,
I'm a fly. When I do what now? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, apparently I'm going to be at SHOT Show as well, and I just didn't know it. So,
Oh, come on in.
no,
Old Blue's about back. So Old Blue's about to get back on the road.
I'm pretty sure there's a minimum IQ requirement to get in there, and I don't know that I qualify. So I'll stay in Arkansas.
So you want to know how I know you've never been to SHOT before? Because there's an IQ requirement to get in that door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be different this year. We'll see. I might not want to kill as many people as I normally do, because normally my feet get run over by those little rolling carts because people think they have to take every pin and every sticker and every patch and every catalog from every booth. So they bring literally a rolling cart, and I'm like, what are you gonna do with that? You're not gonna do anything with that. Quit being a hog. You're not gonna be able to fly home with all that. Anyway.
I'm gonna say, as far as like stickers and swag and stuff goes, like everything I get for the week like fits inside of here, which I need to remember to pack this.
That is a cute purse.
No, dude, it's a badge holder.
Yes, it is.
It's a badge holder.
This is Merce. No, but it'll be different. Well, John Kyle, I'll have to get with you. Are you going to be hanging out with Tate and at the Hawkins?
Andy? I'll be over there some, I'm sure. Yep.
I have an appointment with them. I just don't remember when it is. I made it with Tate. Hey, get with Tate and be in the booth whenever that happens, so we can do videos for all y'all. We'll do a foundation video too that way.
Fair enough. He's texting me at the moment, so I'll let him know.
I figured y'all talk, and yeah, I might forget to look up what time it was and let you know. But yeah, ask them and try and be there at the same time, so
Sure.
we can do a foundation video too.
Sounds like a plan.
So, all right. Well, if we don't have any more lives, are we good on lives?
No, they're busy smack talking my badge holder.
Oh, that's all right.
My bad.
I never bring like a nice badge holder. I always like end up using the ones I give, and then it rips, and I'm holding it together like a piece of bubble gum and a zip tie, and look really classy. That's
Well, my
usually how I
first
roll.
year that I went to SHOT Show, I didn't have anything like that, so I just did the clips ones. And then people at every booth, they're like, "Oh, do you have a card?" And I was like, "What do you mean a card? A birthday card?" They're like, "A business card?" And I'm like,
Got your business cards right here.
"No, I don't have a business card. Why would I have a business card?" And they're like, "Well, you're media and you're at SHOT Show. You need a business card." And I was like, "Dude, I have to have business cards?" So I'd have business cards made for the next year, which I still think is dumb. And I haven't used them all up. And that was 5 years ago, but whatever. So I keep those in there.
Fair enough.
It'll be fun. So we will not have a show next week because we will be at SHOT Show. But we'll be putting some content out. I've made a bunch of appointments, and I know some people are backing out of SHOT Show, but whoever's there will get some good video of their products and put them up on the Shooters Mindset, so that everybody can see kind of what all is there, what's going on with the new area and the new. It's going to be different. We'll see. But
And there's
anyway,
all sorts of stuff in this thing that I haven't like gotten out since last year. Look, I got an Area 419 sticker in there I didn't even know about. Sorry, I'm easily distracted.
okay, do your shout outs.
Oh, me. All right, so my shout outs are GSL suppressors, and we got a centerfire rifle back there. The can is not on that right now, but they make cool things that make your guns a lot more quieter, and it's real good for your ears. Shooters and Sharpshooters of Augusta, our local indoor and outdoor ranges here in Augusta. PDT Custom, if you're into the chassis things, most beautiful chassis known to man right there. Shooters World Powder, you could actually like still find that stuff, especially at Shooters of Augusta. They got like an entire display case slam pack full of it. It makes my gun shoot better than I can. It doesn't take much to do that, but it does do that. Hunter's HD Gold, as you guys notice, I'm blind as a bat, and that helps me a lot. Fix It Stick, so I could take stuff apart and sometimes put it back together, and Vortex to clean your dirty rifles.
Sweet. Greg Bell, you got any shout outs?
Oh, I was busy writing them down. Um,
You want John Kyle to go first?
yes, absolutely.
Go, John Kyle.
That's kind of some pressure to my wife, Amy, who's at the house with all 4 kiddos at the moment, but they're probably asleep because they go to bed at like 8. And we go to bed at 9, so it's I may just pass out on you here in a little bit, but no, just I don't. Greg Bell, I want to shout out to Greg Bell. So go ahead, Greg, since you have them all written down and prepared and stuff and gonna be funny, go for it.
I ain't got a funny bone in my body. I am grateful for, I've mentioned a lot of things. I really appreciate y'all allowing us to come on here and give us the platform to promote this. I'm really excited about it, and I'm very grateful, like I said, for John Kyle and Tate including us in this and believing in us that we can put on and host a very good event. And so I'm really excited. I'm always grateful. There's just a few companies that, stand behind me and have really helped me out. First of all, Foundation Stocks, ever since I started shooting, they've given me every stock for free. And I don't know what they do for everybody. Just kidding.
Yeah, okay.
Just kidding. Sorry, I couldn't help. Haha. I am grateful for Foundation. John Kyle and Amy are very good friends and very good examples to me and a lot of other people. And I'm very grateful for their friendship. Tate is just Tate's Tate. There's just nobody you could describe a better guy. There's better communicators and a few people more organized, but he's a great guy, and I'm really grateful for his friendship. Muller Works Barrels has just always been so good to me, never let me down. I'm grateful for Federal Premium and just Jason Spradling and them picking me up this year and allowing me to shoot for them is a pretty big honor in my opinion. And I'm thankful for Clay Blackadder and the free tangent he sent me today. I don't know what he does for the rest of y'all, but anyway, I appreciate Clay Blackadder and then Twisted Barrel Precision, all the people that have joined our range and believed in us and support us. I'm very grateful for all those people, and I hope they know I really appreciate it.
That's awesome. And for me, for shout outs, I just want to shout out both of y'all for coming on and spending 2 hours of your Tuesday night with us. I know y'all got a lot going, getting ready for all of this and trying to get ready for SHOT Show, John Kyle, and your jobs and everything. So I appreciate that you came on and kind of spread the word. And I appreciate what both of y'all do for the sport, because I think that y'all are both very good ambassadors of the sport. I will say, whenever I brought somebody to the AG Cup, 2 of the favorite people, out of getting to talk to people was the 2 of y'all. Impressed him that, they're just such nice guys, so, I mean, that speaks a lot. You can shoot really good and that's fun and all, but, if you're not a nice person, I don't think that goes very far. And I think both of y'all are 2 of the nicest people in the sport, like genuinely. So thank y'all for what you do and for the sport and just the kind of men that y'all are in this. So I appreciate y'all for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that will be a wrap for episode 363. Look for the link to register on Thursday. If you have a friend that is wanting to get into PRS and has a gun, or maybe even if they don't, but they know how to use one, tell them to watch the episode, get the information, look for the link and get them signed up, because this is a great opportunity for anybody that has the opportunity to do it. So spread the word, get it out there, because I know we have a lot of PRS people that are watching, and I know everybody has friends that want to get into this. So spread the word to them, tell them about it, and get them there. And that'll be a wrap for episode 363, and we will see y'all in 2 weeks after SHOT Show.
All right. Thank you all.